Welcome back. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American pocket change, the Washington quarter. It might seem like just another 25-cent piece, but certain quarters are hiding major value, from rare minting errors to low-minted years. We'll show you which Washington quarters could be worth way more than face value. Don't spend that quarter until you've watched this. 1966 Washington quarter dollar coin without mint marked coin condition fine. This coin belongs to the Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse side features the profile of George Washington facing left, a design created by sculptor John Flanagan. Around his portrait are the inscriptions "Liberty above, in God we trust" on the left and the year 1966 at the bottom. This particular coin has no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia, as during this time the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark for quarters. The coin is in fine condition, meaning that while it shows signs of circulation, the main design elements, such as the hair details on Washington's portrait and the lettering, are still clearly visible, though slightly worn. The reverse side of the 1966 Washington quarter features a heraldic eagle with wings spread perched on a bundle of arrows. Below the arrows are two olive branches, which symbolize peace and strength. Above the eagle are the words "United States of America," and just beneath that the national motto "E pluribus unum" appears. The denomination quarter dollar is struck along the bottom edge. In fine condition, the eagle's feathers and the arrow bundle may show light wear and smoothing, particularly in the high points, but most of the major design features remain well-defined and easy to recognize. The 1966 quarter is made from a clad composition introduced in 1965, consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This replaced the 90% silver composition used in quarters before 1965. The change was made in response to rising silver prices and a nationwide coin shortage during the early 1960s. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and weighs about 5.67 grams. Its edge is reeded with small ridges running around the circumference, which helps prevent counterfeiting. It also serves as a design element. During 1966, the United States Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks in an effort to discourage coin hoarding. This means that all Washington quarters dated 1966, whether they were produced in Philadelphia or Denver, do not have a mint mark. Over 821 million of these coins were struck, making it one of the higher mintage years for the series. Because of this high production total and the absence of silver content, most circulated 1966 quarters have limited collector value, especially in lower grades. Even in fine condition, a 1966 quarter without a mint mark generally carries only its face value unless it has some rare error or is in an unusually high grade. Some varieties and errors from this year include die clashes, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchette flaws. If such an error is present, it can significantly raise the coin's value depending on its rarity and the severity of the mistake. Collectors always examine coins from this period for such features, especially since the mint was under pressure to produce large quantities of coins quickly, which increased the chances of quality control issues. In the highest grades, coins with brilliant luster-sharp details and no contact marks are valued much higher. A 1966 Washington quarter graded mint state 67 or higher by a reputable third-party grading service and exhibiting full strike with excellent eye appeal can be worth several $1,000s or more. In very rare cases, extremely high-grade examples can sell for over $500,000 in auctions, especially when they are among the best-known surviving examples of this date. For a collector, a 1966 Washington quarter in fine condition is a solid addition to a circulated set or historical collection. It serves as an example of the first full year of clad coinage and represents a major change in the materials and minting policies of the United States Mint. Even if not worth a large amount, the coin has historical significance and demonstrates The durability of the clad composition over more than 50 years in circulation. To preserve such a coin, it is best to store it in a clean, dry place, preferably in a holder or album that does not contain chemicals that could damage the coin's surface. While fine condition coins are not rare, it is still worthwhile to keep them from further damage or corrosion. Avoid cleaning the coin, as that could reduce even the small value it might hold and remove its natural toning or surface detail. In summary, the 1966 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark in fine condition is a common, but historically important, coin. It marks the continuation of a popular American coin series in the era of clad composition and stands as a reminder of the economic and minting changes of the mid-20th century. While not typically valuable in its current condition, it remains an affordable and meaningful piece for those interested in collecting or preserving United States coinage history. 1970 for Washington quarter dollar coin without mint mark coin condition circulated. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932 and carried on with the same basic design until 1998. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during this period did not use a mint mark on its quarter dollar coins. As a result, the absence of a mint mark on this 1970 for coin confirms that it was produced in Philadelphia. On the obverse side of the coin, the familiar image of George Washington appears facing left. This portrait was originally created by sculptor John Flanagan and remained unchanged for several decades. And a circulated coin from 1970 for this design usually shows visible wear, especially around the cheekbone, jawline, and hair. The finer details of Washington's hair might be smoothed out due to handling over the years. Despite the wear, the basic design is still intact and recognizable. The inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust" and the date 1970 for remain clearly visible. Although slight fading or smoothing may appear, especially around the edges, the reverse of the coin features the heraldic eagle design, also introduced in 1932. The eagle is shown perched on a bundle of arrows with its wings spread wide. Below, the arrows are olive branches which represent peace. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "quarter dollar" are placed around the edge, while the motto "E pluribus unum" is displayed above the eagle's head. In circulated condition, the feathers on the eagle's wings and body may be worn down, but the design remains readable and distinct. The fields and devices of the coin may show small nicks or marks, as is typical of coins that have been used for everyday transactions over many decades. This coin is composed of a copper nickel clad over a pure copper core. The outer layer is a blend of copper and nickel, which gives the coin a silver-like appearance. In circulated condition, the coin may have lost some of its original brightness and luster. The surface might show dulling, dark areas, or minor discoloration caused by years of exposure to air handling and storage conditions. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters with a reeded edge. In circulated examples, some of the reeds may be smoothed down due to heavy use, but most are usually still present. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters in 1974 because of the large quantity of coins minted. Most examples in circulated condition are considered common. As a result, they typically have no significant collector premium and are generally valued at or near their face value of 25 cents. These coins are often used to fill date and mint mark folders for collectors building a basic set of Washington quarters. While circulated examples are common and low in value, coins in high uncirculated grades can command stronger interest. A 1970 for Washington quarter that remains in mint state condition with sharp strike, full detail, and brilliant luster may be valued at several dollars, and even more if professionally graded at mint state 66 or higher. These higher grade coins are far less common and sought after by collectors who specialize in top quality modern coins. There are also a few known errors and varieties in the 1970 for quarter series. These may include minor double die, obverse or reverse weak strikes, or misaligned dies. Coins with significant verified errors are scarce and can attract a premium depending on the severity and visibility of the error. However, most circulated 1970 for quarters do not display any unusual features and fall within the typical range of common issues from the era. For preservation, it is recommended that the coin be kept in a protective holder or a coin flip, especially if it shows any interesting characteristics or it is being included in a personal or educational collection. Cleaning should be avoided because it can cause surface damage, which reduces both the visual appeal and potential collector interest. Even coins in circulated condition are best left as found to retain their original surface integrity and history of use. In conclusion, the 1970 for Washington quarter dollar coin, without mint mark in circulated condition, is a widely available and historically representative piece of American coinage. While it does not carry a high market value in its current state, it still serves as a valuable example for collectors and enthusiasts interested in the history of United States coins. It holds nostalgic and educational value and fits into the broader narrative of the Washington quarter series that spanned much of the 20th century. Next up we have coin 1980D Washington quarter dollar coin, condition circulated. This coin belongs to the widely collected and long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 and continued through the end of the century with the familiar eagle reverse design. The 1980D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint as indicated by the D mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin to the right of George Washington's profile just above the date. The Denver Mint struck a very large number of these quarters in 1980, making this coin relatively common in the modern era. In circulated condition, this coin will typically show moderate to heavy wear across the raised portions of the design. On the obverse side, the portrait of George Washington faces left with inscriptions above and below including Liberty, in God We Trust, and the date 1980. The high points of the design, such as the hair curls above the ear, the cheek, and the jawline, may be smoothed out from years of contact with other coins and surfaces. The field, which is the flat background area around the portrait, often shows light scratches, small contact marks, and loss of luster due to continuous use. The reverse of the coin features the heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows in its talons with olive branches positioned below. This classic image has appeared on the Washington quarter from 1930 to through 1998 before the series transitioned to the state quarters in 1999. On this side of the coin, where tends to appear first on the eagle's chest, wings, and legs, as these are the highest points of the design. The inscriptions United States of America quarter dollar and E pluribus unum are typically still legible even in well-circulated examples, though some fading around the edges can occur. This coin is made from copper nickel-clad composition with a core of pure copper. The outer layers give it a silvery appearance, but circulated examples may appear dull or slightly discolored depending on their environment over the years. The surface may also have picked up small nicks, dark spots, or staining. The reeded edge will often feel worn or less sharp in a circulated coin compared to a mint state example. These physical signs all point to its journey through many hands over the past for decades. Despite its visible, where the 1980D quarter still holds value to collectors who focus on completing year and mint mark sets, because the mintage for this year and mint was so high the coin is readily available, which means it is typically only worth face value in circulated condition. However, well-struck examples with minimal wear or coins showing unusual toning may still appeal to collectors, especially those building type sets or folders. High-grade uncirculated coins from this year can carry a premium, especially when graded by third-party services, but circulated versions like this one do not normally reach those levels. In terms of potential errors, collectors sometimes search for 1980D quarters with minting mistakes such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped plankets. These errors are rare and must be authenticated before they can command a higher value. A circulated coin with one of these errors could still be more valuable depending on the nature and visibility of the mistake. As with any error coin condition, is still a factor, but rarity of the error often carries more weight in determining value. Proper handling and storage of circulated coins remains important for collectors. Even though this coin shows we're keeping it in a to-buy to cardboard holder or plastic flip can help protect it from further damage. Cleaning the coin is not recommended as it can lower its appeal to collectors and often leaves visible signs that are difficult to remove. Leaving the coin in its natural state, even with wear and discoloration, is usually the best choice for long-term preservation. Overall, the 1980 Washington quarter in circulated condition is a representation of everyday American coinage. Though not rare or high in numismatic value, this coin still reflects a key part of the monetary system and the rich history of the Washington quarter series. It serves as a tangible connection to the past and offers collectors a chance to explore and appreciate the evolution of United States coin design and production. Even in circulated form, it remains an essential piece for those working toward building a complete and accurate collection of 20th century American coins. Next up we have 1965 Washington quarter dollar coin without mint marked coin condition good. This coin marks an important point in the history of United States coinage as it was the very first year the quarter was produced with a copper and nickel-clad composition, rather than the traditional 90% silver alloy. The change was prompted by a shortage of silver and the rising cost of silver bullion during the early 1960s. As a result, the United States Mint shifted to a less expensive material, which significantly changed the appearance and makeup of the coin. Although the design remained the same, the obverse of the 1965 Washington quarter features the classic portrait of George Washington facing left. This design by John Flanagan had been used since 1930 and continues to be a defining image of the American quarter. In the good condition category, this coin will have clear but worn features, with Washington's hair and facial detail partially faded due to circulation. The inscriptions "Liberty" at the top and "God We Trust" to the left and the date 1965 at the bottom are all still visible, though they may appear smoothed or lightly worn from use. There is no mint mark on this coin as it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which during this time did not use any identifying mark. From 1965 through 1967, the United States Mint did not place mint marks on coins in an effort to discourage hoarding, which had become a widespread issue after the removal of silver from dimes and quarters. As a result, all 1965 quarters, regardless of where they were made, carry no mint mark, which makes them identical in appearance in terms of origin. The reverse of the 1965 quarter features a bald eagle with its wings spread perched atop a bundle of arrows with two olive branches below. Above the eagle is the inscription "United States of America" with the pluribus unum just beneath it and the denomination quarter dollar across the bottom. In good condition, the reverse details, such as the eagle's feathers and the arrow bundle, may be flattened or partially missing, but the basic design remains visible and the lettering is generally readable even with noticeable signs of wear. This coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and weighs about 5.67 grams. Its outer layer is 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The reeded edge of the coin is still present, though it may be worn smooth in places on heavily circulated examples. The copper nickel-clad composition gives the coin a silver-gray appearance, though with age and circulation, many of these coins may develop a darker tone or uneven coloration, especially around the rim or high points of the design. The 1965 Washington quarter was minted in very large quantities, with over 1.8 billion pieces struck. Because of this high production number and the absence of silver content, most 1965 quarters have little collector value, especially in lower grades such as good condition. These coins are very common and are often found in pocket change coin jars and bulk coin lots. However, they still hold interest for collectors who are building a complete date run of Washington quarters or who focus on the history of American coinage. There are a few exceptions where a 1965 quarter might be worth significantly more than face value. For example, a rare transitional error exists, where a small number of 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on the older 90% silver plankets. These silver 1965 quarters can be identified by weight and sound, as they are heavier and produce a distinctive ring compared to clad coins. If such an error coin is confirmed by a professional grading service, it can be worth thousands of dollars or more depending on its condition and rarity. In the highest possible grades, coins from 1965 that have been preserved in nearly flawless condition and display full original luster and sharp detail can be quite valuable. A certified 1965 Washington quarter in mint state 67 or higher with brilliant surfaces and no contact marks can sell for well over $500,000 at major auctions. Especially, it is one of the best surviving examples. However, such coins are very rare and require exceptional care from the time they were minted. For a 1965 quarter in good condition with moderate wear and no significant damage, its value typically stays close to its face value unless it has an error or other distinguishing feature. Even so, it holds importance as the first issue of a new era in United States coinage and reflects a key moment when economic conditions forced a change in materials and minting policy. Collectors who come across a 1965 quarter in good condition may wish to set it aside as part of a historical set or simply to preserve a piece of American history. Storing the coin properly in a non-abrasive holder and help protect it from further wear or environmental damage. While cleaning is discouraged, especially for collectors, it is always recommended to keep the coin as original as possible to maintain any potential value. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar without mint mark in good condition is a coin with high historical importance even if it is not rare in the marketplace. Its role in introducing the clad composition that continues to this day makes it a key date in the Washington quarter series. Although common and modest in value, it remains a foundational piece for collectors and anyone interested in the evolution of United States coinage. Next up we have 1991 Washington quarter dollar coin condition scratches. This coin is part of the long-standing Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 and continued for many decades with only minor design changes until the launch of the state quarter program in 1999. The 1991 Washington quarter was minted in large quantities at multiple mints including Philadelphia and Denver. This particular coin does not have a mint mark mentioned, so it may have been minted in Philadelphia, where coins of this period typically lacked a mint mark. The coin's date and design reflect the traditional look of the Washington quarter that collectors are familiar with. The obverse of the coin features the profile of George Washington facing left with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust" and the date 1991 on a coin with scratches, especially in circulated condition. The highest points on Washington's face, such as the cheek, the jawline, and the hair above the ear, often show signs of wear. The scratches on the surface may appear as thin lines running across the portrait or scattered marks in the background field. These scratches typically develop from the coin being handled frequently or rubbing against other coins in pockets, cash drawers, or bags over many years. On the reverse side of the coin, the traditional eagle design is used. This design features a bald eagle with wings spread wide holding a bundle of arrows in its talons, with an olive branch below symbolizing peace and strength. Around the eagle are the inscriptions "United States of America, e pluribus unum" and quarter dollar. A coin in scratch condition may show wear on the eagle's chest, the legs, the beak, and the wings. Scratches can be particularly visible in the flat fields behind the eagle and may reduce the overall eye appeal of the coin, although the design details are usually still visible enough to identify the coin. This quarter is made of a copper core, with a copper-nickel outer layer giving it a silvery appearance. Over time, and with circulation, this composition can develop surface dullness like tarnish and noticeable scratches, especially on the flat areas of the coin. The edge of the coin is reeded and often the reeds become worn smooth or less defined. On a heavily circulated coin, Scratches can sometimes run across the edge and continue onto both the obverse and reverse depending on how the coin was handled over time. While the 1991 Washington quarter in scratched and circulated condition is not considered rare, it still holds value to many collectors who aim to complete circulated sets from each year. The high mintage of these coins means they are widely available, so most circulated examples do not command a premium in the marketplace. The presence of scratches further reduces any collector value, but the coin still remains part of American numismatic history and is of interest to those who focus on type sets or budget-friendly collections. Uncirculated examples of the 1991 quarter in high-mint state grades can have more value, especially if they show full luster, no contact marks, and strong strike quality. These coins are usually kept in protected conditions from the time they leave the mint and are often slabbed by professional grading services. However, a scratched coin would not qualify for such high grades and is better suited for educational or filler use in a collection rather than as an investment-grade item. There are no widely known major errors or varieties for the 1991 Washington quarter that would significantly increase its value in scratched condition. However, collectors always check for small anomalies like double die cracks or off-center strikes, which occasionally appear even in modern issues. If such features are present on this coin, even with scratches, it might still be of interest to an error coin specialist. For long-term preservation, the coin can be placed in a cardboard to holder or coin flip to protect it from further damage. Cleaning is strongly discouraged as it can worsen the scratches or leave behind unwanted residue that affects the coin's appearance and acceptability to collectors. Leaving the coin in its current natural condition is usually the best course of action. In summary, the 1991 Washington quarter dollar coin with scratches is a typical circulated example from the modern clad era of United States coinage. While its condition prevents it from being considered valuable in the numismatic market, it remains a historically significant piece. It represents one of the many millions of quarters that played a role in everyday transactions across the country. For those assembling complete collections of Washington quarters, it still holds a place and continues to be a small but meaningful piece of American coin collecting. Next up we have 1990p Washington quarter dollar coin condition good. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 and continued in its original design format until 1998. The 1990 quarter is made from a copper nickel-clad composition and features the classic obverse design of George Washington created by John Flanagan. The letter P mint mark located to the right of Washington's ponytail indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which began using the P mint mark on quarters in 1980. In good condition, this coin has been in circulation and shows moderate wear on the high points of the design. On the obverse or front of the coin, the portrait of George Washington is still clearly visible, though the fine lines of his hair and facial features may be slightly worn or smoothed. The inscription Liberty arches across the top of the coin in God We Trust appears to the left of Washington's neck, and the date 1990 is placed at the bottom. The P mint mark is to the right of the ponytail, but might be slightly faded due to wear. Despite these signs of use, the details remain intact enough to identify all major design elements. The reverse side of the 1990 quarter features the traditional heraldic eagle design that had been standard since 1932. The eagle is shown with wings spread and perched on a bundle of arrows, which is a symbol of strength and readiness for defense. Below the arrows are two olive branches representing peace. Above the eagle, the inscription United States of America curves along the edge with the motto E pluribus unum beneath it. The denomination quarter dollar is placed at the bottom. In good condition, some of the detail in the eagle's feathers and the arrow bundle will be worn, but the major features and lettering will remain legible. The 1990 Washington quarter is composed of an outer layer that is 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. This gives the coin its silver gray appearance, though over time and with circulation it may take on darker tones or uneven coloring, especially around the edges. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and weighs approximately 5.67 grams. Its edge is reeded with small vertical ridges, which may be worn smooth in spots on well-circulated coins. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion 1990p quarters, making this coin extremely common in all but the highest uncirculated grades. Because of the high mintage and widespread use, most examples found in good condition hold little to no premium above face value. However, coins that have been preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition with no contact marks and full original luster can carry a higher value. A 1990p quarter graded mint state 67 or higher by a professional grading service and possessing exceptional eye appeal may be valued at several hundred or even several $1,000 depending on demand and population in that grade. In very rare instances, an error coin from this year may be worth significantly more. Some known errors include off-center strikes, double dice, clipped plankets, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These error types are highly sought after by specialists and collectors and can increase a coin's value substantially if certified and authenticated. For example, a double die 1990p quarter with strong visible doubling on the date or lettering may attract interest and sell for several $1,000s in major auctions if found in high grade, though a 1990p quarter in good condition is typically not rare. Its historical placement within the series and the enduring use of the Washington design make it a worthwhile piece for those assembling a complete date and mint mark set. It also reflects the consistency and production capabilities of the Philadelphia Mint, which continues to produce the nation's circulating coinage. Collectors may keep such coins in folders or albums as part of a long-term collection and to showcase the evolution of United States coin designs over time. To preserve its current condition, it is recommended to store the coin in a dry, non-abrasive holder or flip. While cleaning the coin might seem like an option to improve its appearance, this practice is not advised as it can damage the surface and reduce collector interest. Natural wear is part of a circulated coin's story, and collectors generally prefer coins in their original condition. In summary, the 1990p Washington quarter dollar in good condition is a common but important part of the modern quarter series. It represents a continuation of the familiar design and materials used during the late 20th century, and while it does not typically hold significant monetary value in circulated condition, it contributes to the broader picture of American coinage and is valued by collectors building comprehensive sets. Next up we have 1970 to D Washington quarter dollar coin condition-fied. This coin belongs to the Washington quarter series, which has been one of the most iconic coin programs in the history of United States coinage. The 1970 quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small d mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin, just to the right of George Washington's ponytail and above the ear. The Denver Mint produced a large quantity of these coins in 1970 to making them widely available in circulation. In fine condition, this coin shows moderate wear across the raised surfaces, but all major design elements remain clear and well-defined. The obverse features the traditional portrait of George Washington facing left, a design originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932, while the high points such as the cheekbone hair curls and jawline may appear slightly smoothed from handling. The facial features are still visible and the general profile remains sharp. The inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the year 1972 are all clearly readable with minimal wear. The D-mint mark is distinct even though it may show some softness around the edges from years of use. On the reverse side of the coin, the design displays a heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide clutching a bundle of arrows with olive branches resting below. This image symbolizes both strength and peace and was the standard reverse design on Washington quarters from 1930 through 1998. In fine condition, the feathers on the eagle's chest and wings may be worn, but the outline of the bird and its posture remain intact. The inscriptions "United States of America quarter dollar" and "E pluribus unum" are all present, though the lettering may appear slightly worn at the highest points or edges. This coin has a reeded edge, which may show smoothing in some areas due to constant movement in pockets and cash drawers. The composition of the 1970 to D quarter is a copper nickel clad with an inner core of pure copper and outer layers of copper and nickel. This gives the coin a silver gray color, though many circulated examples may have darkened over time or taken on a slightly brown or golden tone depending on environmental exposure. Small marks or scratches are common in circulated coins, but do not significantly detract from their identification or basic appeal. The total mintage of 1970 to D quarters was very high, making this coin one of the most common for that year in the Washington quarter series. Because of its high mintage and wide distribution, most circulated examples do not carry premium value unless they display rare varieties or errors. In fine condition, the typical 1970 to D quarter is valued at or just slightly above its face value, making it a coin primarily collected for completing date and mint mark sets or for historical interest. That said, coins from this year that remain in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those with bright luster-sharp details and minimal contact marks, can be worth more to collectors. Professionally graded coins that achieve a grade of mint state 66 or higher might fetch values of several dollars or more depending on demand and rarity in high grade. However, such coins are far less common than the circulated examples. Collectors occasionally seek out error coins from the 1970 to D quarter issue. Possible errors include off-center strikes, clipped plankets, or die breaks. These must be carefully authenticated and are often submitted to third-party grading services for confirmation. When verified, such errors can significantly increase the coin's value depending on the severity and uniqueness of the mistake. For storage, even circulated coins should be handled with care to prevent further surface damage. It is advisable to place the coin in a non-PVC plastic flip, a cardboard to buy to holder, or a dedicated coin album slot. Avoiding cleaning or polishing the coin is also important, since removing natural toning or patina can actually lower its appeal and collector interest. Overall, the 1970 to D Washington quarter dollar coin in fine condition is a solid example of mid-20th century American coinage. It may not be rare or highly valuable in its current state, but it plays an important role in the broader story of American coins. Collectors who focus on assembling full sets of Washington quarters, or who are interested in the coins of the 1970s, will find this piece an essential and accessible addition to their collection. It reflects the era of mass production in United States coinage, while still carrying the strong historical symbolism of the Washington quarter's original patriotic design. Next up, we have 1981 P Washington quarter dollar coin condition fine. This coin belongs to the long-standing Washington quarter series, which began in the year 1932 and continued with the original obverse and reverse design until 1998. The 1981 quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and features the letter P mint mark to the right of George Washington's neck on the obverse side. The Philadelphia Mint began using this P mint mark on quarters in 1980, making the 1981 issue one of the early years to include it. The obverse of this coin displays the iconic portrait of George Washington facing left, a design originally created by sculptor John Flanagan. In fine condition, most of the major design elements will be present, though slightly worn from circulation. You can still easily see Washington's facial features and hair, although the finer details, such as individual hair strands or sharper cheek lines, may be smooth due to wear. The inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the date 1981 are fully visible, although they may have slight fading along the edges from moderate handling. The P mint mark indicating Philadelphia is also clear and readable. The reverse side of the coin continues with the traditional eagle design used from 1932 to 1998. It features a majestic eagle with its wings outstretched, perched on a bundle of arrows. Below the arrows are olive branches symbolizing peace. Surrounding this central image are the inscriptions "United States of America" across the top and quarter dollar along the bottom, with the national motto "E pluribus unum" located just above the eagle. In fine condition, the feathers of the eagle, especially on the chest and wings, may show slight wear, but the overall image remains intact and pleasing. The edges of the coin may show minor wear, but the reeded pattern is generally present and recognizable. The 1981 p quarter is made from a copper nickel-clad composition, which consists of a pure copper core layered with an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gives the coin its silver-gray appearance, although coins that have been in circulation may appear darker or develop some discoloration, especially around the rim or in recessed areas. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 600 million of these coins in 1981. Because of this high number, most examples found in circulated or fine condition are common and are generally valued near their face value of 25 cents. However, coins in pristine mint state grades, especially those certified at mint state 67 or higher by a professional grading service, can be much more valuable. A top-grade example with full original luster, sharp strike, and no visible marks can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on rarity in that grade. Collectors are also interested in errors and varieties that might occur within the 1981 p quarter series. These may include double die obverse or reverse off-center strikes, misaligned dies, or other striking anomalies. If a coin exhibits any unusual features, it is worth further investigation, as certain verified errors can bring significantly higher values. For example, a double die with visible doubling on the date or inscriptions can be rare and attract strong interest from collectors specializing in such varieties. The coin in fine condition is a good representation of the typical circulated example. From this era, it still holds collectible interest, particularly for those assembling a date and mint mark set of Washington quarters, or those studying the progression of design and production quality through the decades. Though not rare in this grade, it helps illustrate the craftsmanship and consistency of the United States Mint during the early 1980s. Proper storage is essential to preserve the current condition of the coin. It is advisable to use a protective holder or coin flip to avoid additional wear or damage. Cleaning the coin is strongly discouraged, as it can leave permanent marks and reduce both aesthetic and collector value. Keeping the coin in its original state is always preferred for long-term appreciation and integrity. To summarize, the 1981 p Washington quarter in fine condition represents a solid example of modern American coinage. While not rare or especially valuable in circulated form, it continues the legacy of the Washington quarter design and offers historical and collectible value to numismatists and enthusiasts. In its current state, it is worth slightly above or at its face value unless it displays unique errors or characteristics that set it apart from standard circulation pieces. Its presence in a collection contributes to a broader understanding of how American coins have evolved and remained a part of everyday life across generations. Next up, we have 1990 D Washington quarter dollar coin condition, some scratches. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 and features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse. The 1990 D quarter was produced at the Denver Mint and carries the D Mint mark on the obverse side just to the right of Washington's ponytail and just above the date. This mint produced a very large number of quarters in 1990, making it one of the most common dates in the modern-clad era of United States coinage. The obverse design of the coin features the portrait of George Washington facing left with the inscriptions, "Liberty in God We Trust," and the date 1990 clearly marked. In this particular coin's condition, which includes some scratches, the raised portions of the coin, such as Washington's cheekbone hair and jawline, may show light to moderate wear. The scratches may appear across the field or over the portrait itself, depending on how the coin was handled or stored during its time in circulation. These marks are not uncommon in circulated coins and are typically caused by contact with other coin surfaces or objects during daily use. The reverse of the coin shows the classic eagle design that was used from 1932 to 1998. The eagle is perched, with wings outstretched clutching arrows in its talons, with olive branches beneath representing strength and peace. The inscriptions United States of America $quarter and E pluribus unum are placed around the eagle. In coins with scratches, the reverse may also show light lines or surface abrasions, especially in the fields around the eagle or over the higher points, such as the wings and arrows. Despite the scratches, most of the design remains visible and readable, which is important for collectors seeking circulated examples for their collections. The coin is composed of copper nickel-clad with an inner core of pure copper. The outer layers give the coin a silvery color, although after years of use and environmental exposure, many examples may develop a slightly dull appearance or light discoloration. Scratches can accentuate this by catching light differently and making the wear more noticeable under direct viewing. The weight of the coin is approximately 5.67 grams and the diameter about 24.3 millimeters. The edge is reeded, and in a coin with some wear and scratches, some of these reeds may be smoothed or flattened. From a collector's standpoint, the 1990 Washington quarter in circulated condition with some scratches holds modest interest. The high mintage and common date status means the coin does not have significant value in the general marketplace unless it is part of a full date and mint mark collection or displays a rare variety or error. Most circulated examples with average wear and scratches trade at or near face value. However, collectors who enjoy assembling circulated sets from the modern clad era may still find a place for this coin in their folders or albums. High grade examples of the 1990 quarter that are in uncirculated condition with no marks, full luster, and sharp strike can be worth more and are often sought out by those building mint state sets. These coins are sometimes submitted to grading services and can receive high grades like mint state 66 or 67. In such cases, the coin's value increases based on scarcity in top condition, but coins with visible scratches like this example typically do not fall into those high-grade categories. There are some minor varieties and errors reported for this date, including possible off-center strikes, die cracks, or other small minting anomalies. If a coin with scratches also shows an unusual feature that appears to be a mint error, it should be evaluated by an expert. Authentic errors confirmed by a professional grading company can be worth significantly more than normal coins, even in circulated condition. To preserve the current state of the coin and prevent additional damage, it is best to store it in a protective holder such as a cardboard flip or plastic sleeve. Even though scratches lower the visual appeal and potential value of the coin, proper storage can help ensure it remains stable and prevents further wear. It is also recommended not to clean the coin, as cleaning often causes more harm than good, especially by leaving visible marks or removing original surfaces. In summary, the 1990 Washington $quarter coin with some scratches is a common and easily found piece of modern American currency. While it does not carry high numismatic value due to its condition and high mintage, it still plays a role in building complete collections and understanding the evolution of American coin design. Its worn features and signs of use reflect decades of circulation, making it a small yet enduring part of daily history. Next up, we have 1987 Washington $quarter coin, condition circulated. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which started in 1932 and continued with the same design until the late 1990s. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of George Washington, which was originally sculpted by John Flanagan. The 1987 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located to the right of Washington's ponytail just above the date on the front of the coin. In circulated condition, the coin shows clear signs of use and handling over the years. The high points of Washington's face hair and jawline are typically smoothed from wear. However, the overall image of Washington remains identifiable, and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as the year 1987, are all still readable, though they may show softening around the edges. The demint mark is usually visible, though it can sometimes be faint depending on the amount of wear the coin has experienced. On the reverse of the coin, the familiar heraldic eagle design is still present. The eagle is shown with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with two olive branches positioned below. This reverse design was used on Washington quarters from 1930 to through 1998 before being replaced by the state quarters in 1999. In a circulated coin from 1987, the feathers on the eagle's chest and wings may be worn down, and some of the finer detail in the arrows and olive branches may be lost. However, the eagle's overall shape remains clear, and the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar as well as a pluribus unum are still legible even if slightly worn. The coin has a reeded edge, which in circulated coins may be partially smooth in places due to constant handling, and wear in pockets, cash drawers, and coin rolls over the years. The coin is made from a copper nickel-clad composition consisting of an outer layer of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This gives it a silver-gray appearance, although, with age and use, the surface may develop darker patches, discoloration, or even spots of tarnish, especially along the rims or in recessed areas. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters in 1987, so this coin is extremely common in all circulated grades. Because of the high mintage and availability, a circulated 1987 D quarter usually holds no premium above its face value unless it has a rare error or variety. Even in slightly better condition, such as very fine or extremely fine, the value remains modest due to the overwhelming number of coins minted that year. That said, there are certain collector interests in mint state coins, or in those that have unusual traits. If the coin had been preserved in uncirculated condition, with full luster sharp details and no contact marks, it could fetch a higher price, especially if graded by a professional coin grading service. A coin graded mint state 66 or 67 with excellent eye appeal might sell for several $100s, depending on the demand and population in that specific grade. There are also occasional errors that can increase a coin's value significantly. These errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped plankets, or coins struck on the wrong type of metal. If any of these characteristics are found on a 1987 D quarter and verified by an expert, the coin could be worth far more than its face value. However, such examples are rare and should be authenticated before any valuation is assigned. For most collectors, a 1987 D Washington quarter in circulated condition serves as a filler or basic piece within a larger set that includes all years and mint marks of the Washington quarter series. It represents the later years of the traditional Washington design before major changes began in the coinage program with the introduction of the state quarters in 1999. As such, it has historical and nostalgic value even if not financially significant. In most cases, to maintain the current condition of the coin, it is recommended not to clean it and to store it in a coin album flip or another protective holder. Cleaning a coin often results in surface damage, which lowers collector interest. Coins are best preserved in their natural state, as this reflects their true history and wear from circulation. In summary, the 1987 D Washington quarter dollar coin in circulated condition is a very common and widely available coin that represents a key period in modern American coinage. While its market value is generally low due to its circulation and high mintage, it remains a part of the broader narrative of the Washington quarter series. Collectors may include it in their date and mint mark sets or keep it for its historical relevance and design continuity.